Hello and welcome to today's lifeconfident.com live stream. And today I want to talk about motivations and goals. So the question is, to start off with, what's your goal? What's your dream? You're at this point right now, the present, and you're doing whatever routine you're doing in your present day. But in the future you want to be here doing this. This is your dream, whatever it is for you. And let's say, for the sake of argument, that this goal is to be self-employed, to have your own business, to be working on your terms, doing what you enjoy doing, because perhaps you don't enjoy going to your day job and working with people that some of which you may clash with personality-wise, but you've got no choice. You're forced to go and work with people that you may not like every single day, 5-6 days per week, for the rest of your life, or until you can change to a new job or a new career. So let's say your dream, your goal is to have this future business where you get to define the parameters, you get to define who you work with, what you do, when you do it. This is the dream, this is a goal. And maybe you'd like to have geographical freedom, to be able to do this from anywhere in the world. Let's say it's a laptop business. So that is one motivation. Now we have two general types of motivation that drives human behaviour. And that is one I've just described, and that's called a towards motivation. You're motivated towards some goal, some dream. The actions you take are dictated by what you want to achieve, what you want your outcome to be in that future date. Now the other type of motivation is away from motivation. So if you want to be here in the future, and this is where you are now, what's happening here that you're trying to get away from? Now we talked briefly about maybe it's because you don't like some of the colleagues that you work with and you would like to get away from that situation. Maybe you're going to work every day and you struggle to integrate with your colleagues, and they don't like you, they don't want to talk to you, they exclude you. They go for a night out and they don't ask you to come out with them. Let's say, for argument's sake, that this is your away from motivation. And let's broaden the parameters. Let's say generally in life, people treat you, they look down on you. Maybe you're a person that's shy, you've got social anxiety, and you don't speak up for yourself as much as you could or you should in social situations. Maybe you're that quiet one. And people often say to you, why are you so quiet? Why don't you say much? And every time they say that, your hair stands on end a little bit, and frankly you want to do a little bit of damage to the person that's saying it, because you've heard it so many times in your life, and maybe you're thinking to yourself, well, why are you so loud? Why don't you tone down your volume? Maybe this is what's going on in your own mind when you're being told that. But the point is, maybe this is the kind of thing you want to get away from. So you're here right now in the middle, stuck in your little routine, in a rut, going round in circles. You wake up in the morning, you go off to work, you do your day job, you tolerate your working with your colleagues, struggling to get along with people in general. Then you come home in the evenings, maybe there's no one there, maybe you're a single person at this moment in time, and you sit down, you watch TV or however you can relax in the evenings. You go to bed, wake up in the morning, and you do it all over again. You wake up, go to work, come back, etc. And you're stuck in that loop every single day. But you've got this goal that you want to be here. And why are you not doing it here, today, in this loop that you're going round and round and round all day, every day? You're thinking about this, but you're not acting on it. What's preventing you? Because you've got the motivation, the towards motivation, you've got the away from motivation. You want to get away from this scenario, and you want to get to this scenario. So here you are in the middle, and you've got probably these excuses in your own mind why you can't start getting towards here. Maybe you don't have the money to start that business, or whatever that dream is for you. Maybe you don't have the time. Maybe you it's not an empty house you're coming home to. Maybe it's a family, and you run off your feet until 10 o'clock at night. You're exhausted. Then you go to bed and you get up and you start again, and you're too exhausted to do anything else. Maybe that's the reason why you can't start on this dream. Or maybe it's some other reason. It's either time, or it's money, or a lack of expertise, etc. It's one of these things, and you tell yourself that I'll do it next year when I've got enough money saved up, when one of the kids have left home and I've got more time, or some other thing that has to fall in place for the time to be perfect for me to start heading towards that dream. Now, I think you probably know, as you're listening to me, that the time will never be perfect to start working on that dream. It's just never going to be perfect. I mean, look at us right now in the middle of a pandemic. Now, what were all the people saying last year about starting their dream? They were saying in 2019, 2020, that's going to be my year. That's the year when I'll have enough money, when I'll have a bit of time freedom, when I've read a few more books and I've got all the knowledge, all the skills, all the money I need, the time I need to start on this dream. And now here we are in the middle of a pandemic, and it's knocked the sails out of many people's dreams. And now we're thinking, well, this time next year then, that's when I'll start. But of course, this time next year, something else is going to be in the way. You're not going to have saved that money. Some emergency will have happened and you will have had to use that money that you were saving. Or something else will come along to fill up your time that you thought you was going to have free by then. It's all balances. You get rid of one issue, something else comes along to balance the scales and keep you forever in that little rut and preventing you. But what's really preventing you is yourself and your own excuses, because all these little things that you're telling yourself why today is not the right time to start, it's all excuses. I went to a book fair once, and there was professional authors on a panel speaking, and I forget who it was now, but she said, look, you're all potential authors. You've got a dream to write your own book. Now, she'd written many books, and she was a very successful, wealthy, famous author. And she said, it was the case for me. I wanted to write a book. I had a family. I was rushed off my feet. I was exhausted. I was going out to do a day job. Now, don't you tell me that you don't have time to do it, because when I got home from work and I fed the kids, I gave some time to my husband, and it was late at night, 10, 11 o'clock at night, maybe later, and that's when she would start writing a book. She would sit down at her desk, maybe she'd plug in some earphones to tune out the distractions, and that's when she'd start writing, and she'd start writing for the next couple of hours, and she would do that, and she made the time. She eliminated that time barrier as an excuse to start working on her dream. Now, I had a dream to have my own business, to be self-employed, to get away from what I've described previously, working with colleagues that I didn't necessarily want to work with, and who perhaps didn't want to work with me. And I had a dream to have my own business, and now I do. But it didn't happen overnight. I did it bit by bit. So I did my day job, then I came home and I developed my side business. It's what they call an incubator business. You do it a little bit at a time every day, and you grow this a little bit every day. So you may not have all the resources, all the knowledge you need in the beginning, but you acquire them, you build them up, and you pour them into your incubator business, and you build it up, and it might take a few years to do. The reality is it might take 10 years. There's no such thing as an overnight success. Most people who you look at and think, well, that's an overnight success. You don't see the 10 years of grind and effort and self-sacrifice that went into building that business. And that's the reality of it. There's very few people that are an overnight success. Even people who win millions on the lottery, you'll look at them 10 years later and the majority of them have lost all that money because they didn't have the education, the discipline to manage that money. So over the course of time they lost it all and they went right back to how they were. So there's no shortcuts here for the vast majority of us. So we come back to what's stopping you from acting today, because almost any excuse you've got in your head you can eliminate. You can find a way around it, over it, if your desire for that goal is strong enough. So what do we do to make that desire strong enough? You clarify the dream, because you may see that dream and you might say to yourself, well, it's a nice dream and I want that dream, but I'm not capable of it. Maybe that's one of your reasons. So you clarify your dream, you define it, you define all the parameters and the steps back that you need to take so that it is possible for you to make that dream a reality. If you're lacking the skills, the knowledge, what do you need to do to get those skills and knowledge? Put it all into a plan. If you go on the liveconfident.com website, I'll provide a plan. If you're in the shyness and social anxiety motivated breakthrough group on Facebook, go to the unit and you'll find a link there to something called the Dream Mapper, and you'll see a step-by-step program. It's completely free to access, and you can go in there and you can map out your journey from here to your goal. But that aside, if that burning desire inside is not strong enough, if the fire is not burning brightly enough, then regardless, you're not going to achieve it. And it's not the goal for you. It's maybe it's a fancy. It's not a proper dream or a goal. A real dream or a goal has to be something that consumes you and you desire it and you think about it every day and you're driven towards achieving it. And no excuse in the world is going to get in your way. So in that case, if that's you, then you do have a chance and you can make it, and you're prepared to go that 10-year distance if need be to achieve it. And what you have to do is visualize that dream, make it real in your mind, clarify, get rid of all the fuzz, all the blur, and bring it into focus. Imagine that you've already achieved the dream, and just make it clear to your own mind, to your own subconscious. Convince your own subconscious, convince yourself that you want that dream, and don't make that dream for anybody else. Don't make it dependent on anybody else. If that's the case, then it won't succeed. It's your dream, it's your goal. Now, that's the toward motivation. What about the away from motivation? Because there's two types here, and you only need one to succeed. You only need the toward motivation. But if you've also got the away from motivation, then that makes it stronger. So do for the away from motivation what you did for the toward. Think about all the things that you're trying to get away from here, the people that you don't want to work with, the job that's just a drudgery. There's no skill involved, perhaps. I don't know what your job is. Maybe it's a manual labour and it doesn't challenge you, it doesn't stimulate you. You're just going there to do it to pay the rent, and there's no other reason. You hate this job and you don't want it, but it's life and you've got to pay your bills and you've got to buy food, so you keep turning up here. Visualize this and make it a real strong away from motivation. Really amplify the pain of this away from motivation. So you're here in the middle. It's like magnetic poles. You want to strengthen the away from pull of or push from this away from motivation, and you want this to be pushing you in this direction, and then you want the magnetic pole of your dream toward motivation pulling you in this direction. so that now we've got both motivations working together to push you in this direction. And this is what it takes to actually achieve that goal. But your goal can't be so wildly beyond your own comfort zone that it's completely impossible to achieve. That's why it's important to make your plan and define the parameters and make sure that you're not making your dream so ridiculously out of your comfort zone that it's always going to stay a dream. So turn that dream into a goal and create the step-by-step plan. And that's all I've got to say on the subject for this live stream. I hope it's been a little bit helpful. I hope it's given you a little bit of motivation and drive to pick yourself up and dust yourself down, break out of that loop, that rut that you're in at the moment, and start pushing. Because you look at the rich people in the world that have not got that wealth from inheritance, that they're self-made entrepreneurs that have built their own business. Lord Alan Sugar, for instance, he's done it from scratch. There's many that have done it from scratch. And read his book, get inspired by his biography, or some other person. Find yourself a role model and get inspired by them, and let it drive you. Find other drivers as well to fuel your journey, but start with a plan. And I guarantee you, if it's a genuine plan, if it's congruent with you, who you are, then you will get there sooner or later. Most people, they'll be full of doubts and they'll fall off. But if you're a person with that little bit of extra quality, that extra drive, you will make it, and I guarantee it. And I wish you good luck, and I hope you'll comment and tell me that you are starting that journey and you are taking steps. But do have a look at the units in my Facebook group, the Shyness and Social Anxiety Motivated Breakthrough group, or I will put some reference to it on the website livecondent.com, so that you can find this map, this planner. It's called the North Star Dream Mapper, and it gives you everything you need to define your plan. Okay, so I've gone way over my time for these live streams. I'm trying to cut them down, and now I'm getting longer. So okay, so that's my cue then to finish this live stream, and look forward to speaking to you on the next one. Thanks very much for having the patience to stay with me this